Let's move the topics to one of the big ones within the state budget arena in Madison, and talk a little bit about how you both feel about K-12 education issues in the state of Wisconsin, and what issues you see within that arena that you are going to need to be addressing when you get to Madison, and how you might address those issues. Julie, you want to start?
Well, K-12 education is the largest portion of the general fund budget in Wisconsin. I guess what I'd first like to do is say I have a personal connection with the K-12 system in Oshkosh, public and parochial. My kids, one is still in high school, and actually right at this point he takes most of his classes at Lures, but he takes one class at West and one class at North. So he's at all three high schools right now. Wonderful collaborative effort between the three high schools here in Oshkosh. That's great. I applaud that. Excuse me, distracted. Personally, I have seen absolute commitment from teachers here in town, giving a lot of effort, giving extra effort that they're not paid for, and I applaud that as well. We have a great system in Oshkosh. We prove that through high test scores in the state, in the region. There's always room for improvement. The room for improvement is in terms of education globally and competing globally, and making sure we have kids who graduate from high school and are absolutely prepared for college. We do hear that there's remedial efforts needed in college once kids get to high school, or excuse me, in college once kids get there having graduated from high school. And we need to be sure that we have an education system that prepares kids for the real world. Solutions, as I'm going door to door, my thought is that it's the excellent teachers who can come to the table with the ideas for solutions to our system. We have a lot of money going into our system. There was a 9% increase in the Wisconsin K-12 budget last year. Our teachers are pretty well paid. 22nd in teacher salaries across the nation, third in teacher benefits across the nation, with a 50% higher payment in benefits than the average across the nation. I think teachers are just saddled with a lot of challenges beyond education. One of the teachers I spoke with when knocking on doors basically said the largest problem is that we need to fix our families. The teachers are responsible for so much more than education these days. What I would love to do is gather a group of excellent teachers, we all know who they are, and talk to them about what is the state doing that's tying your hands, that's creating problems. What kind of things can we eliminate from the budget that will save us money, that will allow us to pay excellent teachers better? What do you suggest? And that's the kind of conversation I want to start right here at the local level.
Well, I mean, education, especially K through 12 education, is one of the biggest things that government can do to provide opportunity for everybody to better themselves. And investing in education is one of the most important things we can do. And one of the reasons I want to get to the Assembly is to make sure that we maintain that commitment. Republicans in the Assembly, their budget contained a $400 million cut to K through 12 education, which would have cut funding to the Oshkosh schools by $4.6 million. Which either would have come in cuts, school closures, or increased property taxes. So there's a direct correlation between who's in the state assembly making what decision and what the outcome is locally. If we truly recognize the need to invest in K through 12 education, we need to make sure that the state maintains funding for K through 12 education. I definitely agree. We need to fight to strengthen higher standards. We have to have a greater accountability. We do need to engage parents more. That is probably one of the largest components to kids that are successful and those who aren't. But we have a lot of situations where sometimes there's not available childcare for a parent who's working, or we've got people who have challenging situations at home, and that's one of the reasons we need to be more supportive and open to programs like the early kindergarten program, which we've seen can help get kids ready for school and equalize things so they have the opportunity to learn. One of the biggest debates is, when I talk to teachers, is just overall morale. 2 years ago, the state had the Governor's Commission on Educational Excellence, made up of Republicans and Democrats. Mark Buer, I believe, chaired the commission, who worked for Governor Thompson. And one of their big proposals was to repeal the QEO. They recognized the impact it was having not just on teacher pay, but teacher morale. The average teacher in Wisconsin is paid $7,000 less than the national average. That's the fact. We have the lowest percentage of dollars that go towards salaries of any state in the country. We have some of the higher towards benefits, but that's largely because of the dynamic of the QEO plus revenue caps. A lot of the problem we're going to face with the education funding formula is, as we have more retirees, more people living on fixed incomes, we still pay for education on the property tax. And that's not really fair, because you're asking more and more people who do not have kids in schools who are on a fixed income to continue to pay for this. And I think we really need to look. The proposal made by this bipartisan committee was that we maintain revenue caps, repeal the QEO, and add a cent sales tax and lower property taxes. I think for Oshkosh, the school levy would be 58% lower, according to this study. So a lot of it is going to have to do by looking at our broken funding formula. I mean, Oshkosh was penalized. I believe this school district's latest budget, we've gotten less state aid because we've had growth in the district. Right now the system, penalizes you in some areas. So paying for schools is going to be one of the issues, but I think we can continue to invest. Look, we do spend a lot on schools, but I think our test scores reflect that it's a worthy investment. And given the need to make sure that our kids are competitive on not just a national level, but international level, education is going to continue to be one of the most important investments that we can make as a state, and you can believe that I'm going to be committed to it.